Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nos programas offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule.
ਸਾਡੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਪੇਸ਼ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਨ ਅਨੇਕ ਭਾਸ਼ਾਵਾਂ। ਕਿਰਪਾ ਦੇਖੋ suprememastertv.com/schedule.
For every one step that you take in the pursuit of the hidden knowledge, take 3 steps in the perfecting of your own character. Please continue watching for the reflective spiritual insights of Dr. Rudolf Steiner, vegetarian.
The welcoming people of Bosnia and Herzegovina like to make you smile when they greet you with Dobar dan, which is good day in Bosnian. Broad-minded viewers, I'm Naida. The citizens of lovely Bosnia and Herzegovina see you as true friends, sharing the same ideal for a world of peace and respect for all beings. May God bless you. Welcome to the flame of the spiritualized vision, Enlightenment on the Way of Initiation by Dr. Rudolf Steiner, vegetarian, on Words of Wisdom. Born in 1861, Dr. Rudolf Steiner was a great Austrian polymath, philosopher and scientist who made influential contributions in the fields of education, science, spirituality, and medicine. He is perhaps best known for pioneering the holistic educational methods for the Waldorf schools. An eloquent public speaker and gifted writer, he gave over 6,000 lectures in his lifetime and gained recognition as a literary critic. His writings cover a wide range of subjects, and he published more than 25 books, including Mysticism at the Dawn of the Modern Age, The Way of Initiation, and Intuitive Thinking as a Spiritual Path, The Philosophy of Freedom. He developed and taught an esoteric spiritual philosophy called Anthroposophy, based on the science of the spirit. We will now continue with the elevating spiritual writings from Dr. Rudolf Steiner's book, The Way of Initiation, from the chapter Enlightenment, which describes the process of unfolding one's higher inner perceptions. Enlightenment. After the disciple has evolved by such means the rudiments of spiritual vision, he may proceed to the contemplation of human nature itself. Simple appearances of ordinary life must be chosen first. But before making any attempts in this direction, it is imperative for the student to strive after an absolute sincerity of moral character. He must banish all thoughts of ever using the insight to be attained in these ways for his own selfish ends. He must be absolutely determined that under no circumstances will he avail himself in an evil sense of any power which he may gain over his fellow creatures. This is the reason why everyone who desires to gain direct insight into the secrets of human nature must follow the golden rule of true occultism. And the golden rule is this: for every one step that you take in the pursuit of the hidden knowledge, take 3 steps in the perfecting of your own character. He who obeys this rule can perform such exercises as that which is now to be explained. Begin by observing a person filled with a desire for some object. Direct your attention to this desire. It is best to choose a time when this desire is at its height and when it is not yet certain whether the object of the desire will be attained or not. Then surrender yourself entirely to the contemplation of that which you observe, but maintain the utmost inner tranquility of soul. Make every endeavor to be deaf and blind to everything that may be going on around you at the same time, and bear in mind particularly that this contemplation is to evoke a state of feeling in your soul. Allow this state of feeling to arise in your soul like a cloud rising on an otherwise cloudless horizon. It is to be expected, of course, that your observation will be interrupted, because the person on whom it is directed will not remain in this particular state of mind for a sufficient length of time. Presumably, you will fail in your experiment hundreds and hundreds of times. It is simply a question of not losing patience. After many attempts, you will ultimately realize the state of feeling spoken of, above as fast as the corresponding mental phenomena pass through the soul of the person under observation. After a time, you will begin to notice that this feeling in your own soul is evoking the power of spiritual vision into the psychical condition of the other. A luminous image will appear in your field of vision, and this luminous image is the so-called astral manifestation evoked by the desired state when under observation. Again, we may describe this image as flame-like in appearance. It is yellowish red in the center and reddish blue or lilac at the edges. Much depends upon treating such experiences of the inner vision with great delicacy. It will be best for you at first to talk of them to nobody except your teacher, if you have one. The attempt to describe such appearances in appropriate words usually leads to gross self-deception. One employs ordinary terms not applicable to such purposes, and therefore much too gross and clumsy. The consequence is that one's own attempt to clothe this vision in words unconsciously leads one to blend the actual experience with an alloy of imaginary details. It is therefore another important law for the occult inquirer that he should know how to observe silence concerning his inner visions. Observe silence even towards yourself. Do not endeavor to express in words that which you see, or to fathom it with reasoning faculties that are inadequate. Freely surrender yourself to these spiritual impressions without any mental reservations and without disturbing them by thinking about them too much. For you must remember that your reasoning faculties were, at first, by no means equal to your faculties of observation. You have acquired these reasoning faculties through experiences hitherto confined exclusively to the world as apprehended by your physical senses. And the faculties you are now acquiring transcend these experiences. Do not therefore try to measure your new and higher perceptions by the old standard. Only he who has already gained some certainty in his observation of inner experiences ought to speak about them with the idea of thereby stimulating his fellow beings. As a supplementary exercise, the following may be set forth. Direct your observation in the same way upon a fellow being to whom the fulfillment of some wish, the gratification of some desire has just been granted. If the same rules and precautions are adopted as in the previous instance, you will once more attain to spiritual perception. You will distinguish a flame-like appearance which is yellow in the center and greenish at the edges. By such observations of one's fellow creatures, one may easily be led into a moral fault. One may become uncharitable. All conceivable means must be taken to fight against this tendency. Anyone exercising such powers of observation should have risen to the level on which one is absolutely convinced that thoughts are actual things. He may then no longer allow himself to admit thoughts incompatible with the highest reverence for the dignity of human life and of human liberty. Not for one moment must he entertain the idea of regarding a human being as a mere object for observation. It must be the aim of self-education to see that the faculties for a psychic observation of human nature go hand in hand with a full recognition of the rights of each individual. That which dwells in each human being must be regarded as something holy and to be held inviolate by us, even in our thoughts and feelings. We must be possessed by a feeling of reverential awe for all that is human. For the present, only these two examples can be given as to the methods by which an insight into human nature may be achieved, but they will at least serve to point out the way which must be followed. He who has gained the inner tranquility and repose which are indispensable for such observations will by so doing already have undergone a great transformation. This will soon reach the point at which the increase of his spiritual worth will manifest itself in the confidence and composure of his outward demeanor. Again, this alteration in his demeanor will react favorably on his inner condition, and thus he will be able to help himself further along the road. He will find ways of penetrating further and further into those secrets of human nature, those hidden from our external senses, and will then become qualified for a deeper insight into the mysterious correlations between the nature of man and all else that exists in the universe. By following this path, the disciple will approach closer and closer to the day on which he will be deemed worthy of taking the first steps of initiation. But before these can be taken, it is necessary to assure oneself of unflinching courage. At first, it may not be at all apparent to the student why it should be necessary, but he cannot fail to be convinced of it in the end. Viewers, we appreciate your company for today's words of wisdom. Coming up next is 2020 Lunar New Year celebration with our association members, Part 5 of 5, right after noteworthy news. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television for more constructive programming. May all your wholehearted dreams be fulfilled, supporting your spiritual upliftment in heaven's grace.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/WOW.